Scientists dug up a 3,000-year-old skeleton in Egypt. Perfect preservation, every bone intact. And they found something that stopped them cold. A tumor. Malignant, aggressive, the kind that kills you in months. And for a second, everyone thought, see, cancer is ancient. Cancer is natural. Cancer has always been with us. But then they kept digging. Thousands of mummies. Hundreds of thousands of ancient skeletons. From Egypt, from Peru, from China, from Africa. And you know what they found? Almost nothing. Out of thousands of preserved ancient remains examined, confirmed malignant cancer cases were in the single digits. Not percentage. Single digits, total. So either ancient humans had some secret we lost, or something in the modern world created a cancer epidemic, and nobody wants to say it out loud. This is not a theory. This is what the bones are telling us, and the bones don't lie. Part 1. What the evidence actually says. In 2010, two researchers from the University of Manchester, Professor Michael Zimmerman and Professor Rosalie David, published a study that shook the medical world. They examined hundreds of mummies and ancient skeletons. Their conclusion was simple and devastating. Cancer was extremely rare in the ancient world. Professor Rosalie David said, and this is a direct quote, "In an ancient society lacking surgical intervention, evidence of cancer should remain in the body forever." Meaning, if ancient people had cancer at modern rates, we would find it everywhere in the archaeological record. We don't. Now, the official explanation from mainstream medicine is straightforward. Ancient humans died young. Cancer is a disease of old age, so they never lived long enough to get it. Case closed. Except, it's not that simple, because we have found ancient remains of people who lived into their 50s and 60s, and still there's almost no cancer. We have found ancient remains of elderly Neanderthals, 70,000 years old, arthritic, toothless old, and healthy bones with zero signs of malignancy. The age argument doesn't fully hold up. Something else is going on. Ancient humans got infections, parasites, broken bones, starvation. Their skeletons show all of it clearly. But cancer? Barely a trace. Which means it's not that bones can't preserve evidence of disease. They can. Cancer just wasn't there to preserve. Part 2. What changed? So what happened? When did everything change? The answer is not one thing. Several things, all at once. First, food. Ancient humans ate what the land gave them. Wild animals, roots, berries, seasonal fruits. No processing. No preservation chemicals. No seed oils cooked at industrial temperatures. No food that was engineered in a lab to be impossible to stop eating. Today, ultra-processed food makes up more than 50% of calories consumed in developed countries. And ultra-processed food contains compounds that didn't exist in any human diet until roughly 100 years ago. Your body has no evolutionary framework to deal with them. Second, air. For 99% of human history, the air humans breathed was clean. Campfire smoke was the worst of it. Today, the World Health Organization estimates that 99% of the global population breathes air that exceeds safe pollution limits. Every breath in a modern city contains particulate matter, nitrogen dioxide, and industrial chemicals that are classified as Group 1 carcinogens. Group 1 means confirmed cancer-causing, no debate. Third, light. Ancient humans slept when it was dark, woke when it was light. Their melatonin cycles were perfectly calibrated to the sun. Melatonin is not just a sleep hormone. It is one of the body's most powerful internal cancer suppressors. Studies show that people who work night shifts, who chronically disrupt their melatonin cycles, have significantly higher rates of breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colorectal cancer. Ancient humans never disrupted their melatonin once in their entire lives. You disrupt yours every single night with your phone. This is not about one cause. It is about a total transformation of the human environment, happening faster than evolution can respond. Your body is running ancient software in a world it was never designed for. Part 3. The conspiracy layer. Now here's where it gets darker, because if the evidence is this clear, if ancient humans barely got cancer, if modern lifestyle changes are this obviously connected, why isn't this the loudest conversation in medicine? Why are we still primarily treating cancer rather than preventing the conditions that create it? Follow the money. The global cancer treatment industry is worth over $200 billion annually. It is projected to reach $500 billion by 2030. Chemotherapy drugs, radiation equipment, surgical tools, hospital stays, insurance payments. Every single one of these requires a sick patient. A prevented cancer generates zero revenue. Now, this doesn't mean doctors are evil. Most oncologists went into medicine because they genuinely want to save lives, but the system they work inside is not structured around prevention. It is structured around treatment, and treatment requires disease. In the 1930s, a German scientist named Otto Warburg discovered that cancer Cancer cells have a unique metabolism. They feed almost exclusively on sugar, specifically glucose. He called it the Warburg effect. He won the Nobel Prize for it in 1931. And then, for decades, this discovery was largely ignored by mainstream cancer research because it pointed toward a dietary solution, not a pharmaceutical one. Today, the Warburg effect is being rediscovered. Researchers are exploring sugar restriction, metabolic therapies, ketogenic diets as cancer interventions. But the mainstream conversation is still dominated by which drug, which dose, which combination, not what created the environment for cancer to grow in the first place. Otto Warburg won a Nobel Prize in 1931. His discovery sat in a drawer for 60 years. Ask yourself why. Part 4. What ancient humans actually had. So what was protecting them? Several things working together. Movement. Ancient humans walked 15 to 20 kilometers every single day, not as exercise, just as survival. Chronic physical activity regulates insulin, reduces inflammation, strengthens immune surveillance. Herculean, the body's internal system for detecting and destroying abnormal cells before they become tumors. Modern humans average less than 5,000 steps per day. Fasting. Ancient humans didn't eat 3 meals a day. They ate when they found food, which meant regular periods of involuntary fasting. During fasting, the body activates a process called autophagy, where it literally eats its own damaged cells, including precancerous ones. It is the body's internal cleanup system. Ancient humans activated it constantly, without knowing it existed. Modern humans suppressed it completely, by eating every 3 hours and snacking between meals. Community and purpose. This one sounds soft, but the data is hard. Chronic psychological stress elevates cortisol. Elevated cortisol suppresses the immune system. A suppressed immune system cannot perform cancer surveillance effectively. Ancient humans lived in tight communities. Isolation was rare. Purpose was clear. Survival gave meaning. Modern loneliness epidemic, and it is classified as an epidemic, is a direct immune suppressor. Your stress is not just making you sad. It is making you biologically more vulnerable. Ancient humans didn't have medicine, but they had movement, fasting, clean air, darkness, and community. And those 4 things together may have been more protective than anything we've invented since. Part 5. The uncomfortable truth. Here is what nobody in a white coat wants to say on television. Most cancer is not bad luck. Most cancer is not purely genetic. The WHO estimates that between 30 and 50% of all cancers are preventable through lifestyle changes alone. 30 to 50%. That is not a small number. That is potentially half of all cancer cases on Earth prevented without a single drug, without a single surgery, just by returning, even partially, to the conditions your body was built for. The ancient human didn't have a cure for cancer. They didn't need one, because the environment they lived in never triggered it at scale. We built a world that did. And then we built a $200 billion industry to manage the consequences. And we called it progress. The bones are still there. Thousands of them. In museums and universities and storage facilities around the world, telling the same story quietly, in a language made of calcium and silence. Ancient humans suffered. They starved. They bled. They broke. Their skeletons show every injury, every infection, every hard year, but almost no cancer. And we, with all our hospitals and machines and billion-dollar research, are sicker in this one specific way than any human generation before us. The question was never, how do we cure cancer? The real question, the one we keep avoiding, is how did we build a world that made it this common? And whether we have the courage to answer honestly.